Before we begin, we'll have a prayer by Elder Brown and our pledge.
Heavenly Father, we thank you again for the privilege we have of coming here, serving you in a way that you'd have us to be. Thank you for bringing each one of us here safely. Thank you for the rain and for all that you have done for us. We ask that you'll bless the proceedings here, that all things will be done according to your will. We pray in your name. Amen.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Move to public comments. Do you have any public comments? Okay, so neither one of these have anything to do with agenda items. I'm going to come on up. Mr. Brown?
Can Mr. Brown?
Sure. Yeah. Mr. Steve Brown.
Board of Commissioners, Judge, my name is Steve Browning, I'm a resident of Wilson County. I'd like to make a brief comments. I made. Thank you for your time and for the work to do for Wilson County. I'd like to focus on what the residents believe is the most important issue in this discussion, our water. Wilson County is not like many of the urban areas that have multiple water sources. Our home farm ranches rely heavily on a shared aquifer system that has supported this county for generations. Water is not simply another resource here. It is the foundation of our rural economy, our agriculture, and our way of life. Large industrial projects such as data centers and power generation facilities can require enormous amounts of water, sometimes drawing millions of gallons a day, depending on the design and cooling methods. That level of demand has the potential to place significant pressure on local groundwater systems, especially in counties like ours, where water resources must serve local residents and agriculture. Once an aquifer is stressed or depleted, recovery can take decades and sometimes longer. That's why our residents are asking for something very simple and very reasonable. Before projects of this magnitude move forward, we ask that the county ensure that there's a clear understanding of how these developments could affect the long-term sustainability of our groundwater resources. This is not about closing developments. It's about protecting the resource that every resident and every future generation will depend on. When can we hear from this court? If we don't hear from you, you'll probably be hearing from us. Wilson County has something very special. Productive farmland, wildlife habitat, and a strong rural community that has taken care of this land for generations. The decisions made regarding these projects will shape what Wilson County looks like 10, 20, maybe even 50 years from now. We respectfully ask this court to ensure that water sustainability, environmental protection, and responsible planning remain at the center of these decisions, because once these resources are lost, they cannot be easily replaced. Thank you.
Mr. Rathbone?
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. First, I want to make something clear. The residents of Wilson County aren't opposed to the opportunity of development. Growth and economic opportunity are important, but it has to be a responsible project. It can absolutely benefit the community. I don't think we have our arms around these projects and how they can be a benefit. I know there's a lot of detriment. The projects currently being discussed involving large power generation and data centers are not typical development. These are massive industrial projects with the potential to significantly impact our water resources, the land, the air, long-term economic stability. Because of the scale of these projects, they require careful review and responsible risk management. I haven't seen any of that. Good projects should have nothing to fear from transparency and or scrutiny. Across Texas and the United States, counties faced with projects of this magnitude routinely require analysis before tax incentives are given to move forward. These reviews typically include aquifer sustainability and groundwater modeling, wildlife and habitat impact studies, air quality emissions analysis, 24-hour noise impact, independent property value impact analysis. I'm already hearing that the price of land in Wilson County is going down because of these projects. We can have that. That's our livelihood. A full-scale cost-benefit analysis, including tax abatement. We can't willy-nilly give away tax abatements when we don't know what the project is going to bring in, because it falls back on the residents. Evaluation of fire and emergency capacity. I don't know if you noticed that the solar plant out there has 500 batteries. Those are lithium batteries. In other states, and I'm pretty sure this state requires it too, you have to build a fire station out there to take care of that. Now, how many industrial solar farms are you planning? How many fire stations is this county going to have to pay for? It's the residents. You should be requiring it of the developers. This is pretty embarrassing. I've been involved in planning and building big projects for almost 50 years. Man, I'm old. In most cases, the project developer provides the funding so the county can have these studies conducted and independently reviewed before commitments are made. A good project has no fear of studies to support the project development. And that's why big developers, good developers, responsible developers are happy to forward the money to counties and Indian tribes and towns that don't have specific funds to do this. This is simply responsible planning and risk management. At its core, the responsibility for managing that risk rests with this court. The residents of Wilson County elected you and pay the taxes that support the government. That trust carries a clear expectation. The decisions made here to protect the long-term interests, the decisions made here will protect the long-term interests of the people, or else they won't. If the projects of this size are approved without fully understanding their impact, the risks fall, again, on the residents, our water supply, our rural land, our property values, our quality of life. Once these types of developments are built, the consequences are not reversible. You can't unring the bell. We don't want to be like Medina County. They agreed to one solar data center. And suddenly they're sued and they have 6 of them because they let one in and they didn't make the laws to limit it, and now they're overrun with them. This is why it's so important that the county take time to ensure that independent studies, I challenge you. These are billion-dollar corporations. We're poor. Why should this county give abatements to billion-dollar corporations? If it's a good project, it can stand on its own. Sorry, I don't mean to lecture you, but having built lots of these projects, I've been the person, my company or a company that I'm working for, that has given money to the counties and Indian tribes, cities, to do these studies because I know my projects were good. And we need to demand the same quality from people who want to come here. Wilkins County greatest assets are not quick agreements to these projects. There are water, land, air, and family. Responsible development is welcome here. It is. I would like to see more income in the county, but responsibly. It must be controlled, transparent, and sustainable. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Do you remember the real estate REITs from 2008 when all of our stock market crashed and your savings accounts crashed and the banks crashed? Well, the way they're funding these is the exact same way. They're building big real estate REITs that companies like BlackRock and Vanguard are going out and raising money. Okay? Somebody's going to get the land. BlackRock or one of those REITs are going to build a data center. Meta is going to come in and lease it. Then when there's a problem, Meta, big pockets, $1 billion, walks away. Company who paid to build it, well, they're already out of it. They're just a leasing company and they're gone. And who's left with the problem? Wilson County. We simply ask that those decisions place the long-term well-being of our residents first. Sorry to run a little long time.
Thank you. Agenda item number 4, certificates of completion awards and bond consideration. For the B.G. Young School of County Commissioners Court Continuing Education, Commissioner Scott Egan, Commissioner Gary Martin, and Commissioner Russell King. Agenda number 5 are county extension reports. Do you have anybody here from not only a few minutes to look it up? Okay, well, we're going to bypass agenda item number 6 for Commissioner Martin for his 10 o'clock hearing, and we'll come back to that. We'll go to agenda item number 7. It's going to need to remind me of it. We'll pass that. We have Mr. Glenn May, Coffee Cars and Veterans President, discuss and take action to use county property to host Coffee Cars and Veterans 2026 shows. Chief, you got the floor.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Once again, I come before you. Wanted to thank you for last year allowing us to do our car show downtown. It was a great success. If any of you didn't attend, I would ask you to do so this year. I know Judge was there last year. We had a pretty good time. We'd like to also request the use of the courthouse lawn and parking lot this year for 7 November for our annual car show. What we do with the proceeds, for those who do not know, we started a new fundraiser. We're buying lock boxes and putting them on disabled veterans' homes that cannot respond to, like a first responder comes out of a medical emergency. And we worked it out with the fire department to put a code in there that they have, so they don't have to kick down the veteran's door. They can go in, they can open it up, and also we have an information sheet that we put all the information on a 911 computer. So when they respond to that veteran's home, they know what's going on, what the medical emergency is, whether they have animals in the house, service animals, all for the protection of the first responders and the veteran. So that's kind of what we what we're doing to raise money, and we're also taking money back to the ROTC, JROTC at the high school because they need some funds. So, if you will, we'd like for permission to use the courthouse lawn and parking lot again this year.
Mr. Phil, entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to allow the coffee cars and veterans to use the courthouse lawn and parking lot November 7th for Veterans Car Show. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. If any other discussion on agenda item number 7? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 8, discuss and take action on approving proclamation for the month of March. This proclamation is to emphasize that individuals with IDD and their families are not alone. The goal is to promote inclusion, raise awareness, and strengthen community connections. Do we have anybody from this organization that's here for the proclamation?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Joanne Moraida. I was here in that. Did you want me to read it?
Yes, if you would. And then just stop from the last whereas, and then I'll read after that. You take the vote.
William County, whereas individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, quotation IDP, quotation, are valued members of our community who contribute their talent, perspectives, and abilities to the social, cultural, and economic life of our society, and whereas intellectual and developmental disabilities affect people of all ages, race, ethnicity, and background, and awareness and understanding are essential to fostering inclusion, dignity, and respect for all individuals. And whereas people with IDD have the right to live, learn, work, and participate fully in their communities, supported by inclusive policies, accessibility services, and equitable opportunities, and whereas family caregivers, educators, services provided, advocates, and community organizations play a vital role in supporting individuals with IDD and promoting self-determination, independence, and quality of life. And whereas increasing public awareness helps reduce stigma, challenge misconceptions, and strengthen our collective commitment to inclusive accessibility and belonging for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion on this proclamation.
Make a motion that we accept the proclamation dedicating this is Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Aiken, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Is there any other discussion regarding approving this proclamation? I'd like to say, on behalf of Commissioner Aiken, we need to get his name right on here. It's John Scott Aiken. And every year we get it back, just as Scott Aiken in the bottom. Is yours corrected?
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Maybe just needs to change the name.
Well, we all know it by Scott. So.
That's the one that we just corrected.
Okay, very good. All right, if there's no other discussion on this, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against nay. Ayes have it. Motion passes. Now, therefore, I, Henry L. Whitten, Jr., Judge, Wilson County, do hereby proclaim March 2026 Intellectual and Development Disabilities Awareness Month in Forestville, Wilson County, and recognize the contributions of individuals with IEDs, promote inclusive practices, and work together to build a community where everyone is valued and empowered to reach their full potential. And witness, therefore, I have hereunto set my hand this 18th day of March 2026 as Intellectual and Development Disability Awareness Month in Wilson County, and I call all citizens, community agencies, religious organizations, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in our effort to prevent domestic violence, thereby strengthening the communities in which we live. Agenda item number 9, discuss and take action on approving the Child Abuse Awareness Proclamation. Do we have someone here that's going to hold that? Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Proclamation, whereas an estimated 558,899 children were victims of abuse and neglect in the United States in 2022, the most recent year for which there is a national data. Whereas in federal fiscal year 2023, 3.8 million reports were made to Child Protective Services and Child Advocacy Centers investigating 247,543 cases involving sexual abuse. Whereas in 2025, an estimated 2,000 children died from abuse and neglect in the United States, a number consistently on the rise over the previous 5 years. Whereas in 2024, child advocacy centers around the country served some 372,613 child victims of abuse, providing victim advocacy and support to these children and their families. Whereas it is estimated that at least 350,000 children are in the child welfare system 2025 due to abuse and neglect. Whereas child abuse can have long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that have lasting consequences for victims of abuse. Whereas in Texas, 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before their 18th birthday. 98% of their perpetrators are someone the victim knows. And whereas protective factors are conditions that reduce or eliminate risk and promote social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children. And whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnerships created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses, law enforcement agencies, and families. And whereas child abuse and neglect are a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions require input and action from everyone. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that create strong and thriving children and families, and whereas we encourage public awareness of child abuse and neglect through education, recommit county resources to the cause, and promote community involvement through local activities. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together the community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promoting the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. That was long, I'm sorry. This is kind of dear to my heart because this organization is who I led 3 or 4 years ago as a commissioner of the Department of Family Protective Services. It was a big impact with this type of program. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the child abuse awareness proclamation.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Keen, second by Commissioner Hayden. Is there any other discussion regarding this agenda item? Hearing none, I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those against? Proclamation passes. Now, therefore, I, Judge Hank Whitman, proclaim April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Wilson County, and urge all citizens to recognize this month to be dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families. Agenda item number 10, we have a county attorney, I assume this will be Mr. Ron, discuss and take action to ratify budgeted expenditures by county attorney under the Senate Bill 22 state grant, authorize the county attorney to make future expenditures under Senate Bill 22 grant that have been approved as budget items.
Yes, good morning. The next three items are pretty much similar. We received funds from the state of Texas under SB 22 that allows for expenditures specifically in the area of law enforcement for our office, prosecuting cases, and then the sheriff's office as well. What we are asking, and most of it goes to salaries, is that the court authorize Ms. Nettles to make these expenditures as per SB 22, and as part of the budget, rather than having to come to court for each expenditure to be approved by court action, apart from what the auditor pays on schedule, but to actually authorize a specific expenditure that's required by SB 22. So we're asking the court to authorize Ms. Nettles to make those expenditures, and along with the next agenda item, to also allow the sheriff to make, the expenditures on SB 22. There, the sheriff is given some discretion with some of those funds. Most of it is salary, but is also allowed some other expenses that his office needs. And so we would request, I guess, on his behalf as well, for the next agenda item, that the sheriff be authorized to make those expenditures as budgeted under SB 22.
We've been in this program for some time.
We have been.
Every year.
We have. And I don't know if there's ever been, I didn't deal with it, so I don't know whether or not there's had to be an expenditure, if there's something unusual that has to come to court, but usually the county attorney or the sheriff will take care of that and after court if there's any special expense. But it's all under the budget, so there would be no variance from that.
So I see you've explained 10 to 11. I'm going to call for 2 votes.
That's fine.
So Commissioner Ballard, on agenda item number 10.
I'll make it a motion to ratify the budget expenditures by the county attorney under Senate Bill 22 state grant to authorize the county attorney to make future expenditures under Senate Bill 22 grant that have been approved as budgeted items.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Beatty. Any other discussion regarding agenda item number 10? If none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it. Motion passes. I'll entertain a motion on agenda item number 11.
I'll make a motion to ratify the budgeted expenditures by the county sheriff under Senate Bill 22 state grant and to authorize the county sheriff to make future expenditures under Senate Bill 22 grant that have been approved as budgeted items.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Beatty. Any other discussion regarding agenda item number 11? If none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it. Motion passes. Agenda item number 12. Again, Commissioner Honor, County Attorney discuss take action to authorize payment of county attorney staff salaries for Keeper Garcia and Jesse Mata under the pretrial diversion fund as well.
Yes, Your Honor. This is into the court. Pretrial diversion funds are very specific funds that are being paid through that program. Deidre Garcia and Jesse Mata, they are paralegals and are investigators. It's a part of their salary is supposed to be paid from those pretrial diversion funds. But we did not get approval for those funds previously, so they did not get their pay increase as they should have earlier last year. So we're asking the court approve the expenditure from those pretrial diversion funds to be used to pay them as they are supposed to. And it deals with the rate of increase that everyone received across the board. Those who did not, because that comes from the pretrial diversion fund that had not been approved. And so we're asking if that be approved now.
motion to authorize payment of the county attorney staff salaries for Deidre Garcia and Jesse Locke under the pretrial diversion fund as budgeted back to October 1, 2025.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner King. Any other discussion regarding this agenda?
I'm just going to ask the auditor, this is already in play,
It is in the budget.
so I'll go ahead.
Any other discussion? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you. Agenda item number 13, discuss and take action on approving payment to Asphalt Patch HP for the purchase of $2,294.36 for asphalt patch. So, Commissioner, you're going to have to help me on this. We have vendors that sell materials, and there's a list of how many asphalt our vendor million. This is a special blend of patch that those vendors don't sell?
Yes, that is correct.
That's right. Okay, so we need to, and I'm all for approving this. We can get this vendor, this company to come over here and get on the list. Let's get them on there because we're going to continue to use them.
Do we need to?
Yes, I suggest you do. Every year, the auditor asks for materials that are going to be supplied to the county. I got a list of those materials, and they include asphalt type C, B, D, cold mix, DS plus, and traffic type D. And then there's a high performance asphalt that this company provides. So
It's a special formula for
it
patch.
is, but if you're going to list all the asphalt that the county uses, you probably should also list this high performance as a type of asphalt that the county needs for materials. If this supplier is the only one that bids and the only one that's able to provide it, fine. I mean, then at least they're on that list, but it can draw into question the fact that you've listed all 6 asphalt types but left this one off because it's special. Well, I understand it's special and the supplier provides it, but it should be included in the list. And I know that this supplier has been paid in the past and used because they do provide this high performance asphalt. But that's where the auditor looked down this list and did not see HP as material, and then did not see the vendor and just thought, okay, we need to just make sure that either the HP asphalt is provided in the supply and the materials list for the next bidding term or the next bidding session, and then if the supplier, and that way we don't have to be coming to court to get it approved, saying, well, they're the only one, they're the only one. And this way, they're already listed, and there'll be no issue request.
How do we assure that they get notice every year to turn in a bid? They're not in Wilson County, so they don't
Well,
get Wilson County news.
Well, they should, I mean, if they receive, they've gotten quite a bit of money from this county, a substantial amount over the last several years. And so, they probably should, I mean, I don't know if we have an obligation to let every vendor know, hey, we're going out for bids. If they've been paid, they probably should look into the fact that now they'll need to just put themselves on the list and what they're able to provide and the cost that they're able to provide.
Have they ever been on the vendor list? Never seen.
They've never been on the vendor list.
So what is the real, do we need to ratify the previous purchase? Because if we're going to ratify one purchase, it seems like we should ratify all of our purchases.
Well, probably should. This vendor,
You know, it's been, you and I looked at it the other day, it's up in $100,000.
well, this vendor has been paid over $200,000 in the last 4 years. And they were paid, last year they were paid over $60,000, and 1 year they were paid close to $90,000. So, on any list, and not to be able to make that, or even mix that kind of asphalt. I know it's ready-made or it's mixed. That's what's a bit about asphalt. And so if they can provide the ready mix, and that's what we need, and the others cannot, then they should at least be on the list to do that. So you probably should ratify, because there's been quite a bit of money paid to this one.
All previous purchases, is that okay?
I
In the last
think
5
we
years,
were, I have the amount. I think it was 4 years that we looked at what it came out.
I've used all 5 years I've been in office.
Well,
My predecessor used them, and I continue to. And for the public, they provide a bag patch. So it's a 60-pound bag that you're able to put into the back of vehicles. You're able to go out with a 2-man crew and be able to facilitate patching the roadway without having heavy equipment out there. It is a alternative that costs a little bit more as opposed to getting in tonnage, large loads. But you can't order it that way because it ends up solidifying over time because we don't catch that many 5-0s on a daily basis. And so it's a matter of, this is kind of vague, and I didn't want the public to not know what we're talking about and why everybody seems to be using it, but we haven't had them on a vendor list.
That's correct. And I do agree with Commissioner Martin. Probably do need to ratify in 2022. We paid them on 23 over 98,000. In 94, probably close to 97,000. And in 2000, we haven't reached that amount this year yet. They will take
back to fiscal year 23, basically.
probably 22, yes. Like it is 2020. Sorry, well, from our fiscal, like from 2020.
Oh, because
Okay.
you don't have anything prior to the conversion. All right, so I mean, that's like, it's fine. I mean, this is all fun.
Bags or leaf that come
Well,
off.
I get involved now. We used to all use it in bags, but it's more expensive in bags. It's cheaper in bulk.
And
I'm buying it in dump truck loads.
so to be perfectly clear, can we use it? Can we also authorize to use that till we have our next bid, or should we stop using it?
No, you can. I mean, you determine that this is the only supplier that is able to provide that type of material. It's been used in the past. They've provided the service needed to do that patchwork. So you can approve them in the future. Otherwise, every time they have a receipt that comes in, you're going to have to approve them specifically. They were not on the original material, and that's why we said they weren't on the list. The county doesn't necessarily have a vendor list generally, but because their work is for materials, and this is considered a material that's used, a specialized kind of asphalt. So, yeah. After all that, again, probably should.
So what do we need now from those people so that they need to come to the county?
Well, they have
Auditor's office and get with you.
They provided a receipt for February, which is authorized today, it can be paid, and then, of course, authorizes them to continue to be used until the next bidding process, then that would be fine. But then the next time materials are sent out for bid, this type of asphalt should at least be on the list.
I will make sure they get on the plan next time. It's a husband and wife. They're up in their 80s. They're waiting for their grandson to graduate from A&M to take over the business so they can retire. So they probably just got what they want.
And that's fine. I mean, it is a specialized type of asphalt. So I can see where it's not the normal part of A or D and C or these other types. But just to make sure that looking at materials for asphalt needs to be all types of asphalt. We're going to do that for next year.
I'll entertain a motion to also modify to the back years. Commissioner Martin, I take it you're going to make a motion? Okay.
I make a motion to ratify the purchases of asphalt at HP back to fiscal year 20, where we have records, and to authorize the purchase going forward to the end of this fiscal year until we have a new material bid that would cover this material.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Thurlow. We have another discussion regarding agenda item number 13.
Yes, sir. For Mrs. Huron, so none of us sat on this court at that time. I'm just asking the question about, is it proper and legal for us to authorize past expenditures where we were up here?
You are, because what, in essence, what you're doing is you are approving the fact that this was what you believe to be a legitimate expenditure based on the information now. So you're not being necessarily tied if it was 26 years ago, but we don't need the county having made these expenditures just never have been approved. So you're fine.
Okay. Satisfied with that?
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it. Agenda item number 14, we have Gary Mark, Commissioner Precinct 1, and Russ King, Commissioner Precinct 2. 14A, discuss take action on the Dr. Phase 1 forensic audit for fiscal year 2022-23 to present. Complete county financials. Commissioner, we had a government code that came up that kind of put the cart before the horse on this, right?
Yeah. So Commissioner King and I have been working with Ms. Huron and the county attorney's office for the last 2 weeks, and this didn't come up till Friday afternoon, and so she brought it to my attention, and so we will have to delay this to follow code chapter 115.031.
Yes, and there is a specific code that speaks to this. We talked about general audits and just reviewing past expenses and dealings, but we looked with when I received some information on what the potential cost would be. This came up, and it's an audit that has to be approved by the court for resolution, by resolution. It has to be in the public's interest that the court feels it necessary for the public good and certainly for transparency and to ensure that all expenses made by the county are approved and properly budgeted. The court can authorize an audit, and there has to be a resolution. This resolution, and which I'm willing to work on to address some of the issues and concerns that maybe all of you have. The resolution has to be posted for 10 days, stating what this audit is about, why, and what specific areas is to be looked into, and it has to be passed by unanimous vote. In other words, the four commissioners have to approve this audit and then look at what the possible costs and enter any contract that's entered into by the court to perform the audit. We would look at, of course, the contract and the cost and the expense and what it would to be done. So this specific audit is governed by the local government code, and these are going to be requirements. So you can't just come to the Commissioner's Court and say, I'd like this looked into, and it has to be by resolution. You are delving into specific records and expenses of the county or the department or whatever the issue is. So that's the requirement. I can work on a resolution, certainly present it to all of you for review, and you decide how you're going to go forward with that. Any questions?
Yes, so I'll work with her to get everything done. We'll figure out the timeline based on, I think it has to be in the paper too, right?
Yes, it has to be, it has to be published
So
for
we'll have
10
to
days.
coordinate all of that. Yeah.
Did you take bids on what this is going to cost?
It's a
Kind of
professional
service.
It's a professional service, so there's really, you don't have to go out for bids. Once the resolution describes what that audit is for, if it's the auditor's office, if it's a specific office, what it looks into, then with that resolution, you can go to an accounting firm, or whoever is interested, or whoever is able, and they will provide a cost to the county as to what exactly it's going to be. So they can be expensive.
So we're going to take no action on agenda item number 14. Are we good? All right. Agenda item number 15. We have Russell King, Commissioner for Central, discuss take action on setting a public hearing at 10 o'clock on April 13, 2026 for Wilson County subdivision regulations.
Yeah, so we've been working on these regulations, and I think we got them all down. Commissioners should have it all in their box. Hopefully y'all got some information back. If not, we need to get that information back. I'm going to make a motion to set a public hearing at 10 a.m. April 13th, 2026 for the Wilson County subdivision regulations.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Thurlow. Any other discussion regarding agenda item number 15? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, ayes have it, motion passes. Agenda item number 16, Mr. Rocco, you think you can do it in 12 minutes?
Yes.
Probably kids.
Yes.
Don't give her a hard time.
Well, let's all take part of that. Just don't give her a hard time.
Yes, there are a couple of them there in the same preview that we possibly do at the same
We
time.
do have that hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Rocco, permitting and development director, we go to 16A, I'm going to call 1 and 2 together, is that okay?
Yes.
They're both in the same precinct.
I think put 4 on there also.
I 1, 2, and 4 are preview too.
They're all in my subdivisions. 1, 2, and 4, okay. Utility permit 873, Frontier Precinct 2, Abrego subdivision, review and approve. 2, utility permit 874, Frontier Precinct 2, Bentwood subdivision, review and approve. And utility permit 876, Frontier Precinct 2, Shannon Ridge subdivision, review and approve.
I've looked at all this with all these 3 of these subdivisions. So I'll make a motion to approve permit number 873 for Frontier and Abrego Lake subdivision, permit 874 Bentwood subdivision, and permit 876 for Shannon Ridge subdivision.
Second. I'm going to give Commissioner Martin as opposed to. All right. Motion made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Martin. Any other discussion regarding these agenda items 16A, 1, 2, and 4? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, motion passes. 16.3, utility permit 875, Frontier Precinct 3, Oak Valley subdivision, review and approve. 5, utility permit 877 East Central SUD Precinct 3, 138 County Road 348, review and approve.
Make motion to approve utility permit 875 Frontier Precinct 3 Oak Valley subdivision and permit 877 Central SUD 38, County Road 348.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cardova, second by Commissioner King. Any other discussion regarding 16A, 3, 5? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, motion passes. Go to 16A6, utility permit 878 Oak Hills WFC Precinct 1, County Road 128.
Again, I'll look at this permit. There should be some water improvements up there on County Road 128 on the north end of it. So I'll make a motion to approve permit 878 for Oak Hill Water Supply Corporation on County Road 128.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner King. Any other discussion regarding this agenda item? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you, I will collect signatures at the moment.
That'd be good. Commissioner, you think you can?
Yep.
Okay. We have agenda item number 17, Gary Marks, Commissioner of Precinct 1, discuss take action to revise the agenda request.
Yeah, so I think y'all remember back in December we talked about updates to the Commissioner's Court. And currently in the motion, Ms. Genevieve, the county clerk, pointed out that we talked about this, but we didn't actually include this in the motion to approve. So this is the revised agenda request form that the clerk's office has made up, and so it's your approval.
What's the change?
It's just making sure that where it's underlined, well, number one is they took the date off the top, so you just, it only has one date. And then the underlined part in the middle and bottom. Request supporting documents and statutes or presentations are due by noon on Monday prior to the Monday Commissioner's Court. So just make sure when they turn this form in that they either know that they have to turn in by Monday at noon, or they turn it in when they turn this form in, whatever backup documentation comes before. Okay, hopefully that means that things will be done a little quicker and faster, and this information will be more readily available to us sooner.
All right. Mr. Entertain motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the revised agenda request form.
Okay.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner King. Any other discussion regarding agenda item number 17? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have it, motion passes. Sheriff, do you have a report, sir? Okay, so agenda item number 18, Sheriff's Office report, Connor's report. Good? Okay. Agenda item number 19, Genevieve Martinez, County Clerk, discuss take action on Commissioner's report.
And they've been reviewed by the county attorney and the county judge.
Okay. Give me 2 minutes. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to set the minutes for Commissioner's Court, 9 February emergency minutes, and 23 February.
Second. Made by Commissioner King, seconded by Commissioner Martin. We have no discussion on agenda item number 19. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Ayes have recess at 9:55 a.m. until we go back to agenda item 6 for the morning.
So, in order for an entity to even come and ask for a tax abatement, we have to have a policy in place. And that policy expires every 2 years. So the policy that we're reviewing today has no impact except that it's a policy. It does not approve anybody's anything. It just tells them what rules they have to follow. And do you have anything?
Yes, I do. First of all, the abatement policy that's online continues to say draft, or the one that I pulled up, or the one that I get called about. So we need to clear that up and let them know that it's not a draft. That was the actual approved policy. So this needs to actually be signed and posted as the official policy. There were some typographical errors. The area was changed from, after there were so many changes, anyone has comments, you know, what actually was changed from the previous policy is that instead of investment zone, it also is to include proposed investment zone, so that the court can get ahead of any potential developers that may be coming, that may include certain investment zone in the future. It would allow the county to certainly adopt or include this policy for that area. A couple of things was that the cost for that before an application is to be moved forward, that the applicant has to enter into a development agreement. So that would include a lot of the issues and concerns the community has about a development agreement on permits, on regulations, anything like that. So that before abatement was to be considered, there would need to be a development agreement between this developer and the proposed development and the county with the standards that the county has set. There was some typos that were removed. The other main issue is that normally the application would go to the county judge for review and determine whether it was a complete application. This has all been changed on page 4 to include that now this application is to go to the court as a whole, and the entire court is to review the application and determine whether that application is complete to move forward with its consideration. There's a difference between submitting the complete application and actually approving it. So this is still the application process, and then the cost for the fee for that would be remitted to the county clerk. Last time there was a check, somebody submitted an application fee, and nobody really knew where do we put the check or who gets the check. So we clarified that to say that check goes to the county clerk, who will then remit it to the county treasurer, certainly for to be deposited. But it does provide that now the court as a whole is to participate in that development agreement as well as the application process, so that the entire court reviews that application first and then on whether it's sufficient.
I think that was a good change. Whoever did that, thank you, because it should not solely. Thank you.
Well, I mean, here's the thing is everybody has to understand is that generally the way these things start is only 2 members of Commissioners Court can be involved in any initial discussions. Otherwise, we have what we call a walking forum. So this eliminates that need to potentially have a walking forum. It means when they come and submit an application, then the whole court gets up there. Then we all know what's going on. Because in a lot of these cases, like in Commissioner Akins a couple of years ago, only him and the judge knew much of anything about it because it was in his precinct. And this way, we can get the information out sooner, and it becomes available to the public sooner. And also, in addition, I forgot, but Ms. Huron and I worked with the attorney that we have that does tax abatement. She reviewed this and had a couple of little minor corrections, but generally we learned a lot from the last time, some things we need to put in here. And just because I have an idea of what Ms. Kibbe is going to say, I want to thank you, Ms. Kibbe, for your comments last time, because a lot of comments that she made, we are not directly incorporated into this policy, but it allows your comments for us to more easily incorporate your comments into any development agreement or anything like that that may come up. So with that, Ms. Judge, we're ready for some public comments.
Ms. Kibbe?
You're going to let me speak first?
Come on, I can make
Well, you're the best.
Okay. In general, I'm neither for nor against tax statements, okay? I think that they work when they work right, and I think that the devil is in the details. It frustrates me that even though I spent a good deal of this morning trying to find these proposed changes, I still can't find them. So we need to do a better job of getting the proposed changes out to the public before we hold a public hearing on the topic, because if they can't find them, then they don't know.
I'm not sure why you're having so much trouble, but yes, and I should have said that too. The county clerk actually posted them on they're on our website. If anything we always do, we're going to have a public hearing.
I may need a lesson because I know what people.
No problem. Hey, I have the same problem too.
Okay. The next thing that I want to say is this may not be included in the proposed changes, but I think that any tax abatement should have written into it, and people should understand you don't get a tax abatement to use to then build something that you then sell to somebody that is tax exempt. So you don't get a tax abatement for building a warehouse for Walmart or Amazon, and then turn around and sell it to a church. Sorry, because we give tax abatement so that there'll be an incentive to bring much more tax funds in, and then to then have them all disappear just doesn't make a lick of sense. And we ought to tell people that up front.
Right. I can't remember off the top of my head, but in our development agreement last time, we did incorporate that.
Yes, we did. That's
And
one of the
that's where
things
that
that
would
we
be
incorporate, but I really think we ought to just tell companies that coming in. Okay. Secondly, I want to highlight how little power counties actually have, and that a tax abatement program is one of the few levers that they have to get companies to do what they want them to do. A company that does not ask for tax abatement can pretty much come in and do about what they want to in Texas. Yeah, water can become an issue, but it's not an issue that the county gets to govern. Either it's not governed at all, like it is over in Gonzales County, or it's covered under a underground water district like it is here through Evergreen. But it's Evergreen that has the power, not the county. When it comes to water discharge, counties have very little power. Now, they have some power when it comes to subdivisions, but if you're not going to subdivide anything, then that outrights the county out of the. And so I don't want there to be a misconception that the counties don't zone in Texas. The city can zone, even general law cities can zone. Now, we only have one in this county, home rule city, because we only have one city big enough to be home rule, okay? There are things like that that I think we all need to recognize. And I can't agree with the development.
You know, I don't think you have to worry about time. This is public
No, we
hearing.
have 30 minutes of public hearing, so you can continue because there's only.
But I think that those things are important. I do think that the county worked very hard on the only tax. Well, no, there was one that came through real quick. But let me just say, people keep talking about there being a bunch of batteries over there, and as I recall, the only thing that was approved under that tax abatement is the solar farm itself. The only properties that were included in it were those that were either owned by the people that were doing it, or they already had a lease agreement with the property owners. and these are all things the county negotiated. There was a 300-foot setback with green green screening from the property edges. You know, there were many things like, and the fact that they can't turn around and sell it to non-for-profit entities like CPS. You know, those kinds of things. And I think that we need to recognize that negotiating lever is all the county really had. If they hadn't come after a tax abatement, the county they could have done whatever they wanted to. And there would not have been any of those considerations. And in that sense, that's the only time I really think it's useful to have a tax abatement. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I do want to reiterate what she said. Without that, if they do not ask for a tax abatement, there is really basically almost nothing that we can do as a county. So the best thing for us to do in a lot of cases is to grant that tax abatement and work with them to get the things that we see, that you all see, that we want to try to make sure get done.
Yeah, but I want to reiterate that Van Zandt County and Hood trying to do that, and those commissioners got in a lot of trouble. And, so they overstepped the grounds. And that's online if you want to see those results back to the legislature actually got on it. So, Ms. Love?
In Montgomery County, there are an awful lot of county executives who are trying not to approve it. And I doubt if people in this room and people who are against it realize that this abatement dies before your next meeting if you don't pass Ms. Martin's amendment to it. I would like to see a level playing field between the people, the AI people, and the local residents. I think we need to have a workshop or something. I'm not in favor at all of approving anything that just let this thing sunset and let's do something better. There are a lot of things in here that y'all aren't following. I hate to say it, but I think if you go through it, you cannot go through it. But if you go through it, I think you'll see there's a lot. You're following the statute, but I don't think you're following this. I'd like to ask you to please suspend it and give us a chance. Give these people here a chance. They've been fighting this on both ends of the county. Give us a chance to have some input in it. Because we've got a problem. You all don't know about it. And you can't say anything. So we don't know anything. I may know more than, well, no, most of the people know more than I did. But I did not realize that this was sunset. I don't think anybody realized it was sunset. If I read the agenda, nobody would have understood that it's sunset if it wasn't Commissioner Martin. So I'm hoping that you all will vote, at least one or two of you will vote against it. Let's have some kind of a workshop. Let's include people rather than exclude them. Because there are a lot of people who are interested and want to see something happen and stop this. I live very close to Fairport. A lot of people here live very close to Puma. Well said, and the people around Puma, that's small acreage, mainly. Out here on my side, it's larger acreage. I'm not going to be that effective. I don't like it. But I think that if they decide they're going to come in with a data center, which they still will not say they won't, it's still a possibility. It could be in 3 different counties. And you all couldn't do a thing. Not a thing. So, if anybody has any questions, I might not get the answer. Thank you for being here. Let me talk.
Mr. Brown, did you want to talk?
Judge, let me reply to her comment. Again, this is being done because we need to do it. There are some other potential developments that may come to us. This is not involved in that. We don't know if the one that's in precinct 3 is going to ask for a tax abatement or not.
We need to know
Go
what
back to the
you
microphone.
know. We need to know what you know. We need to,
I don't know, because here's the thing. They're a private entity. Unless they come and ask us for a tax abatement, about the only thing that we do that affects them is we have a development permit, so that we know that it's going on, and we can issue them a floodplain permit.
no, they have to go for various permits. And
Not with
Not with Wilson County.
It's EPA. We don't know. I'm sorry, I just don't know. Maybe you know. There's a list of things that they need to do. We need that list so we can
But that's a real problem.
Yeah, this is a public hearing, go for it.
They have not come to the county for any permits at all.
Road permit, you gave us road permit,
I'm sorry?
No.
road permit, building permit. Well,
We haven't given them any, they haven't come to us for any.
We don't have the authority to issue
there's
building
a
permits.
committee
They
for
haven't come to us for what road permits you talking about. They haven't come to us for any permits.
building permit, which.
No,
we never-
we don't do building
Not
permits.
for, not for Clearfield, right, right. And they signed their agreement back right around the beginning of 2005. And they were gathering it all, and it's now in the name of Onetta. So I'm sure that means something. But that's what, you don't know who that Onetta is, that's Mississippi.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Mississippi.
Messiah.
You haven't heard of it before?
How you say the last name?
Onetta,
Dr. Oneto?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Dr. Onetta.
he owns the property.
But here's what's happening in public. We've got to separate the different things that are going on. There is a confusion where people are lumping everything together in a pot like a goulash. And so Puma or Maasai or the project that's located northwest of Stockville versus what's going on in Clearfork next to Nixon are two completely different things. Now let's muddle it a little bit more. We have passed a resolution at this court to say we don't want a water supply corporation exporting our water out of the northeast portion of Wilson County, and that is something completely different from the first two that I mentioned.
You're right.
The group has got to take and make it to where it's understood with clarity that we're talking about this right now that we're not happy about.
It'll help us.
And I mean, I wrote a response a couple of weeks ago on Facebook where I responded to things that were put out there that were confusing the people of Wilson County, and I wanted to bring clarity to it at that point in time. And at that time, as effective of Friday before that Saturday post, there had not been a permit put into place by Puma, Maasai, whatever name you're going to use with the project northwest of Stockville. And to this day, there still has not, correct? There still has not been a permit where they have requested anything in Wilson County.
Well, that's why I said they may be going to TCEQ for
And then your fight is with TCEQ. Make your voice heard at the state level. And
help us. We're asking for your
okay, but the ability for the county to help you is limited by the statutes that the state of Texas has put into place.
That's one thing in this abatement policy, job creation. Now, there are a lot of people over there now, but you know, those people aren't going to stay. Those people are staying in.
And in the abatement, long-term jobs were never promised. 6 to 7 people.
Jobs, so. Okay,
So you're saying they're doing better than the abatement agreement asked for?
No.
Well, I mean, if you go take a look, she is correct. There are about 50 personal vehicles or company vehicles that are parked there, so there are a lot of people working there right now.
Your abatements, they can be swapped, they can be bought, and so once they go free.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
We entered into an agreement with that company.
With that company?
That's right.
Not according to this. And I've never seen an agreement.
I don't know what you're looking at.
Your abatement.
But the one that contract they signed for that particular abatement is with a particular company, and that thing's.
Oh, that one they
Company specific.
But I can, you know,
Enbridge.
before you did, it was 248 ME. It was, I don't know.
Nothing in the past that came up because people are going, you know, the school districts did this in 2022. All of that sunsetted. There was no abatement applied to Clearfork that had anything to do with Nixon Smiley Consolidated or with Stockdale ISD because the tax code put that away. They didn't act in time.
Well, this is about to be put away too. I think it's time.
It's not. They already have a signed agreement. It's done. The agreement that we signed last summer is already enacted. You're talking about you just want our abatement policy to go away where we no longer have a policy.
Say your constituents, help us, let us be involved, don't just go to them. Don't let them come to you in silence, let us know what's happening.
Well, that's what it is.
There's no silence
Now when they come, that's the reason it's going to the clerk's office. County, Ms. Love, let me finish. Everything that goes to the clerk's office, they record, and they will have a record of it there, and then they, if it's necessary, they either coordinate with the judge's office to put it on the website, or it's available in their office when they're open for review by the public, and if you want a copy, I'm sure they will assist you in getting a copy.
Draft on the website, and you can't find on that if you don't know how to go to the CAD office and find it.
Well, but that's not our problem. We don't manage the Wilson
We
County
have a problem,
Appraisal.
the problems of Wilson County and needs your help.
That is not our problem. The Wilson County Appraisal District is its own separate entity. That we provide a budget to them, but we do not have any authority to oversee them or mandate anything.
There's no way that you can go to the clerk's office and find out who owns that property right now. You have to go.
Yeah, you can. You can go and look. Yeah, you can. Go and ask, find the deed. Give them an address, and they can find the deed.
I have the deed.
Okay, but
I have the deed.
then you got to go through the Secretary of State. We all know how all this works, Ms. Love, and I understand what you're saying. I know it's very difficult sometimes to figure out who owns a piece of property. Because I can give you an example. I wanted to buy a small little tract that was connected to mine, and guess what? It's in a trust. Who is that? Well, I don't know. I go to the, it's hard. You have to get a lawyer to find out who owns the trust. Those are the way that the state laws are.
And it could be 30 different people.
But how do we know that?
Well, let's get together and have some kind of workshop and see if we can come up with an abatement policy that works for the entire county. If there's some
And that's what this policy does.
where there are environmental studies done, economic studies done, we need all of
And
things.
that's what this policy requires.
I don't see it.
It is. There are things in there, because I sat on the phone with Ms. Huron and with Ms. Blakely. We went through it, and they're like, here, you have this. We can basically ask them for anything that we want. But you got to remember, only if they come and ask us for a tax abatement. If they do a development period, they don't have to come and do anything with us, except get those two permits.
If they decide the terms of the abatement are too stringent, or let's be honest, they're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They are going to be doing it for profit. If they decide that it's a deterrent, then they go, I'm not signing that, and they choose to build anyway.
Well, they're going for foreign investment. That's what they're doing, they're searching for foreign investment. We're going to have foreigners owning this county.
Well, the state of Texas passed something in the last legislature, I believe,
No,
that helps protect
for three countries, not for the countries that are involved with it.
Okay, well, we'll have to look into it more. But I mean,
But that's for Russia, Iran, and China. But the ones that are coming here are not Russia, Iran, and China. It's Spain, Denmark, it's every European country. But they're looking for investors in foreign countries. I don't want my water to be used by someone in Europe.
okay, then, speaking of that, but can we look into whether or not it is legal to add in our abatement agreement that we will take and not want any abatement agreement to be signed with companies that are using foreign investors?
How would you know?
Well, I mean, you're the one who's throwing it out, and I'm trying to get to a common place with you now.
If you put it on marketing, how do you know who's funding? You don't know. It's not like you lower.
Okay, so your answer is nothing gets done.
No, I'm saying let's do it together. Talk that together.
Again, that's an item for a development agreement. If they come and ask for a tax abatement. Some of the things you are asking us to do, we do not have the power.
But some you do have the power to do, and you're not.
Which one? Which one? Tell me.
One thing, we need an environment, we need an investment.
Not required. Not required by the law.
Environmental statement, we need an environmental statement.
It's required if they come to us and ask for a tax abatement, we can ask them to provide that. We can ask them to provide us an economic analysis.
You ask for things out there at Fairport that we're not providing to you that I know of.
I don't know what those
The
are.
water permits,
They didn't get a water permit.
they don't get a permit.
They're not utilizing it. It's a solar.
But, yeah, I mean,
No, they could use it for, but you say they can.
Regulations and some law. I read something that just absolutely blew me away. For every three
Come
searches,
to the mic, please.
on AI,
Come to the
come to
mic.
the mic, please, because people online can't hear
They're
you.
not doing AI out there.
they are going to. There is going to be associated with the data center. For every time somebody gets on AI and does researches,
couldn't believe it. So I went and researched it. And all kinds of engineering magazines and data magazines agree with this, that for every 3 searches that you go to ChatGPT and do a search, you're wasting a lot of water. Because the more searches, the more the servers work, the hotter they get, the more water it takes to cool them down. Surely you guys work with us. Let's create some rules in this county that we're not just going to be run over roughshod by billion-dollar corporations.
And it's been explained, we do not have in state statute the ability to block the industry if they want to be here and don't seek some sort of abatement agreement. They're going to be able to be here because the state allows them that power. And the reason the state does is they don't want any, 254 counties in the state of Texas, they don't want any one government messing with the ability to have the red carpet out and go bring your business to Texas. We
Bring
are
your
not,
business to Texas.
I'm just telling you that you're wanting us to deal with it locally, and we have our hands tied in what we are legally able to do.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Well,
Have you ever heard of landowner rights in Texas? Texas is very big on landowner rights. Mr. Onetu bought that land. He
Well, I
purchased
have
it, it's his
landowner
land.
rights too, and the price of my property is going down, so what about my landowner rights?
I haven't found anywhere in Wilson County that's property has value is gone.
Okay, I'll bring it to real estate agents to say it's going down, and then you'll hear about it. You guys should be researching it, you know?
Well, number one, they still haven't come to the county. This is all media hype that's been put out on Facebook. They have not come to the county for any permits.
Right
You want us
now,
to go spend money on something that has not come to us?
right now there's, well, maybe we should require them to come before you. Right now there's 12,145 acres that are out for development, 2.5% of this county. And we're sitting here doing nothing.
Well, we're not sitting here doing nothing. We're doing what we are allowed by law to do.
Go ahead, Mr. Brown, you got about a minute and a half.
I don't think we have 30 minutes left to read this.
Okay.
is it our understanding that without tax abatement, a builder, developer can do pretty much what they want to?
Yes, sir, that's
Is that
correct.
right? Is that
They don't subsidize.
if they don't subdivide? If it's not a subdivision, we do still have power underneath the state of Texas if they're going to subdivide for building homes. So why would they seek tax abatement?
So they can make more money on the back end. That's
So
basically.
basically what we're looking at, it seems to me, this is build a suit. So constructor, builder, developer, whatever. Yeah. And the builder's saying in that flip. Y'all get that impression?
Well, some might, but we
It
allow.
might be irrelevant at this point. I'm just jumping in on this. Kind of gone from lately. But it seems to me that without tax abatement, they're pretty much free to do whatever they want. And that's a scary thing to me.
Yeah, it is scary.
Just now learning. So what can we do about that?
This is what we're talking about. You gotta go to Austin. You gotta talk to your legislatures. You've got to show that they're citizen support.
Are you guys willing to go with it?
Well, absolutely. But you've gotta have all your facts and everything straight together, and verified and checked and independent, where you can take them and show them something, not just something that you get off the internet. I mean, and I'll give you an
Sure,
example.
nothing I do is off the internet. I've lived it for 50 years.
Okay, that's wonderful.
That's an insult.
No, it's not. It wasn't directed at you. It's directed at anybody that wants to bring something. It's got to be verifiable information that we can take, and we'll be happy to go with you. We will arrange to get meetings with our appropriate legislatures. Not a problem. We know them all by first name, except whoever gets elected this fall will be in District 35. We'll see who that's going to wind up to be, what they'll do. That's at the federal level. But basically, right now, it's the state legislature that mandates what we do. Because what you have to understand is a county is an extension of the state government. So they have granted us powers to control things that the state wants us to control for them, and a lot of it, you would be surprised to learn they tell us to do, which is like unfunded mandates in school. We get plenty of unfunded mandates through the state. Your indigent health care, your indigent defense, a lot of other things that come out there that the state tells us we have to do, and oh, by the way, we don't have enough money, even though we have whatever it is, $35 billion surplus fund, to send us money, so we don't pay for it, so y'all pay for it.
So if I put together all of the documentation, who here will go with me to the TPCQ and ask them to help us protect our county and require these studies are put in place before anyone builds mega industrial centers in our county?
Well, we need to figure out what the process is, because what you're basically stating is you need a change in the state statute. So that's got to go through the legislature. TCQ just doesn't change their rules willy-nilly without all kinds of stuff. If there's something that we can do to facilitate that, we can certainly do that.
We're leaving evergreen out.
They can't do anything unless you guys do them. They've already explained that to me. They need a contested lawsuit in order to be able to go out and meter the industrial water and change their industrial water.
And I believe that's because that's what state law is, and again, that goes back to TCEQ. So again, you've got to have a proposal. You've got to have these things so that we can lay out clearly what the problem is why counties / underground water districts get the authority. I mean, that's basically what we need to do. We've got some other good folks here in town that can help. Because we've got Dr. Brownlow, who I'm sure would be willing to help us get that. I don't, and you may disagree with that, and that's fine.
Told me we had to sue him and do a contested.
Well, but that's the way that the law is written. He can't change the law. And the other problem is you want us to do everything for you, and to a certain extent you can, but when it comes to contested case hearings with TCQ, you have to be an effective landowner, and for you to be able to sign that letter, you have to be able to demonstrate that you live in whatever area it is to be an effective participant. So like anybody that doesn't live fairly close to where this data center is going to go, in other words, like me, I live on the west side of the county, and I can sign a petition that says I'm against it, but I can't sign a contested case hearing because I'm not an effective party, because it's 25 miles from where I live. You have to be directly effective.
So really what we're looking for, what we need to do is find the receipts, find the documents, right? So when we do go to Austin, if you will, we're fully invested in this, right? So we need the documents and a determination,
Right.
to this issue. Okay.
Yeah, and what laws you would like to see enacted that aren't there? You know, because I mean that's a big part of it. Because I mean every underground water district is authorized by the legislature. A lot of them by name, you know. And so the ones that get attention are the big ones, like over in Harris, where you got I don't know how many water control and improvement districts are over there that control not only the water that's underground but above ground. They control everything. But we don't have those districts.
Good. My name is Mark Hurd, President. Real quick, this is what I want to say. First off, Commissioners, thank you for the work you've done and everything you do. I will never arbitrarily quarterback individuals that are doing the job that I've been doing that I'm not doing. And to my fellow citizens, thank you for bringing up the issues that currently have because they must be addressed. But I think here's where we can gain synergy as a community. There are the lines of effort. The primary things that we're focusing on have to do with the growth and the sustainment of our community out of county. They have statutes that they cannot necessarily change it. We understand that there are things that are in scope and out of scope with this legislative body, period. We understand that there are things that are in scope and out of scope for the state. So in my mind's eye, as we frame this to get after doing what we need to have done for our community, for our county, there are three centers of gravity, or I should say three means that we have to approach. That's the state, this body here working, and then the citizens coming together to come up with a way ahead, whether that's through the change of laws, implementing abatements, whatever it is, but we have to approach it at the scope. And I appreciate the passion that everybody has here, specifically from the commissioners and specifically from you, but I think we can get to an agreeable pursuit of securing our community and the growth in a way that is indicative of what reflects this culture. But I think what you said before, it's going to be a collaborative effort between us, working with the judge and his team of commissioners, and then working with the state of Texas so that the judge and the team can get at their level whatever we need to do to the state of Texas to get them to give us consideration, give us deference, give us information, so that we can come down here, provide that analysis, and then come up with approaches that will effectively get after containing that life for the community we have. But my humble request to you and specifically to the Commissioner's Court is that at some point, with all this passion we have, because I think we can do it quickly, let's allow the Commissioner's Court to do the things they need to do with regard to laws and whatever they have to do to pass, but at the same time establish at some point in the near future some type of working group where we can get together, get the real focus, so if it's 3, 4, 5, whatever those main lines of effort are to take care of our community.
And that's what we've been trying to do, trying to get these guys level playing field.
Yes, ma'am. And I think we can do that, but I want to make sure that we all understand that we're saying the same thing. We're all going in the same direction. We're all on the same team. But at this point, and I don't know how we accomplish it, but I do know this. The way that we do accomplish it is by letting the team here, the Commissioner's Court know, working with our teams and getting the point management, coming together, whether that's in this session or a separate session, how will we get working groups together to get after that so that we can look at what's in scope and out of scope for Wilson County, for citizens, for the Commissioner's Court, and get after implementing those things, because we have the time to make the change, but what we don't have are the resources, because this court is constrained by the number of people they have working for it. Those corporations literally have a team of experts doing all the research they need to do with regard to state law, municipality law, all that stuff to get us there. And the only way we're going to be able to affect that and get after it is with the talent we have in the community, our elected officials, and going back to the state of Texas as a team and saying, hey, we'd like this, this, and this to be done. And I think that will get us to where we need to be. But right now, even though we're unified in passion to take care of the county, what we're not doing is unifying the resources that are in scope and out of scope for us as a community to get those taken care of. So I volunteered to do my part, however I can help as a citizen to make that happen. I'm retired, I got the time, but at the same time, please give deference to yourself and to the Commissioner's Court, because I know that they're doing their job as far as they can do it. We just have to put a little talent out here in the community to help them get there. Thank you.
Yeah, you signed up.
I did, yes, sir. Thank you, Court, for letting me speak. I'm Tamara Reed. Well, I understand what all of you are saying about tax havens, and that if a corporation comes into our county, we don't have any control, we don't have any leverage over them if they don't run tax haven. About the tax haven, I highly suggest that if this happens with any corporation, limit the years of tax haven, please. 50 year, I mean, NSA says their lifespan is 80 years. And it's my understanding that they've asked for a 30-year tax abatement. That sounds good.
They haven't asked anything, they haven't come to us and asked anything.
Okay.
And more tax
That's the information they were putting out. Okay. I apologize. I was given, I read that somewhere, and as Commissioner Martin said, you don't trust everything that you read. So
Yeah, I'm going to let you finish, but I want to address that, because that is our biggest challenge, is misinformation. You know, people, I've had a couple of people call me and say, hey, their website's wrong. I don't run their website. You know, what they put out there is them. You know, and that's where a lot of this information comes from. Misinformation comes from, is people read something because it's on the internet, it must be true, and we've got to all realize that the information is only as good as we can validate what the source is and who said it.
So, and I understand why you all, I don't remember who said this, but a lot of what we control is determined, the whoever signs the petition for the next type of hearing has to live within whatever is determined to be the affected area.
Yeah, that's contested, that was me, that's contested. Case hearings with TCEQ is the only context that is in. It doesn't have anything to do with public hearings here. It's only contested case hearings with permits from TCEQ.
Well, Commissioner Martin, I know you understand this, but all of our county is serviced by some part of the Carrizo Aquifer. Below the Carrizo Aquifer is the Queen City Aquifer. And I think there's another one below that. But, you know, who's to say that, like, when Monica Flores and her sister spoke to Susan last week, they're on, what is that, the southwest side of the county?
Northwest, 31%, yeah, up 1303.
Northwest of Sutherland Springs. So, anyway.
Well, I don't know if they have property over that. I know Monica's.
Well, I said southwest.
Yeah, but it's northwest.
Okay, all right, I apologize. So, the aquifer affects everybody in our county, whichever aquifer you're using. It affects everyone in our county. And my house, my property, as crow flies, is about 2 miles from the bay. And the week, 2, maybe 3 weeks ago when they were burning, that smoke was coming right over my house. So it affects more than just a confined area right next to them. And that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Yes.
My east has irrigation wells that have been there for years. They use them to irrigate coastal fields. Those
Right.
wells have been permitted for 2 million gallons a day for many, many years.
Right.
The water usage is based off the number of acres that you own. So legally, according to Evergreen, he can get up to 4.9 million gallons a day for the number of acres that he owns. But he chose not to do that. He left it at the 2 million gallons that it had been permitted at for years. He did change from agriculture use to industrial use. That much I know. That's through Evergreen. So that information is, you can get that information. But I don't know, you know, I grew up in this county. I'm 4th generation. My kids are 5th. My grandchild is 6th generation. So if anybody thinks I'm not interested in what happens in this county, that's not true. I won't find out as much as I can, but I can't go out of the law when they have never come to us for any permits. And I will tell you right now, I would be against any abatement for this type of project. If they've got that kind of money to build that project, build it.
Yes, but
That's
the
my
county
opinion.
doesn't have any control over them. But, and Commissioner Friola, I was not disputing anything that may have been, you may have just observed in our precinct. What I'm saying is that Commissioner Martin made a comment about at the next type of hearing, and I regret that I've forgotten what type of hearing that's called, but it's only the people that can sign that petition are the people that are directly affected by it. My comment was that because we're all out of the Carrizo Aquifer, that it affects everybody in the county, not just them. And I do know that they have applied for industrial permit and they're leaving it at 2 million.
Except that their website says that they need 14 million gallons a day, and the most efficient power plant I ever built uses 6,000 gallons a minute. The most efficient.
We're not talking about taxpayer policy. We're talking about,
No,
we need to get
we're
back
getting
on
off.
track.
I agree with you, Commissioner, so we need to get back on that. So, Commissioner Martin, on 6B, how do you want to proceed?
I'll make a motion to adopt the Wilson County tax abatement policy as presented in the package.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner H. Do you have any other discussion regarding 6B? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. I got it. Motion passes. So we're going to close this special meeting out until 5 a.m. and we're going to go back to executive session. Sorry? Public hearing, I'm sorry. So now public hearing. We'll move to agenda item number 20. Ms. Christina Boots. Discuss and take action on county credit financial reports.
Good morning. What I'm presenting is my February report. There was no this week, I'm going to use 40 minutes on behalf January 1, as I'm just a quick one. As follows, my report doesn't change. You'll see the checking account with our beginning to
We've got about 30 minutes on there to
no, you're good.
scroll through.
I'll wait down for now.
So I know you and I talked about the civil preparedness
Yes.
CD and the amount that it is. Were you able to figure out anything? Because I think we need to lower that or put it in 2 CDs so that it's covered by FDIC insurance. Do you need a motion from the court to do that, do you think?
That's the only thing that I'm looking statutory, everything, I have not found that I have to have some type of approval or anything going forward. Yes, I would like to do that.
I guess our investment policy basically, does it say it has to be covered by FDIC insurance? I forgot.
Correct, and of course, that there are limits that they always do or turn out. So yes, if we want to do that now, so it's honoring that, it's fine, and I can go ahead and take that and move it, and I can move it, that investment, or take the class, we can do that so it's out in there in the income.
Either way, whichever gives us that point over.
Yeah, because I wanted to, this was all before my time, I want to double check that there was nothing set up or legal or anything like that, or what the purpose was, or remaining. So yes, I'm fine with that.
So just so you'll understand, on the bottom of the first page where it says certificate of deposit, the second one that says civil preparedness in the amount of $315,637.88. That's only insurable by the FDIC amount up to $250,000. And so I was talking to Ms. here about it a couple of weeks ago, and it would be best if we either put that in Texas class, or she has reinvested according to the investment policy, so that the entire amount becomes insured by FDIC.
So we'll be entire $250,000. Is that your recommendation?
Let me double check on that right now, just to see exactly when that CD is able to, or when it matures.
When it matures,
Yeah.
yeah. Because it's a 30-day CD, so it's...
Correct, and I want to double check with the banking. I don't think that is set, some have minimums. I don't think the CD, once it matures, you can go ahead and move it. We've done that before. But I can't say right now that I spoke with the bank as far as the requirements for that one minimum or anything. But as soon as, if it's applied like all the other ones, as soon as it matures, then yes, I can go ahead and move that. And I would like to do it according, if I can, to our policy in the tax box, because we will earn more with it being in there than it's sitting here right now.
Is that the only account that's protected under FDIC?
No, all accounts for that. That's normally with anything. A lot of even with our old broker CDs that we used to have with other companies, they would only do that. So if we wanted to invest $1 million, then yes, they would advise to split it up to 249, roughly that, because they're only insured with that amount. So that's across the board. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and she is the investment officer, so she has the authority. What we weren't sure of was if I'm not sure we were, anyway, I think she can do that.
And that goes along with a lot of other ones that we get, even with our monthly, with our tax money that's coming in. I do go ahead and transfer that into tax box to get the best thing for us, but of course the interest that we approve. So I don't come to Commissioner Court for approval, but I am able to do that.
I'll entertain
I'll make a motion to approve the county treasurer's financial report for the month ending January 31, 2022. Oh, that says 25, but that should be 26.
Yes, I apologize. I did change it on y'all's end. I believe I don't know if it made sense when I printed that. Yes, I apologize for that. And it was not corrected, so when I will get the county clerk, look, it is correct.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Keenan. Any other discussion on agenda item number 20? If not, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Ayes have it.
The copy sign? Yes, I have already on my drive, but now just in case going forward with the whole entire program, you have any other questions? But on the other pages, due to the investment, obviously you'll see the interest rate. So if you're planning to put it, any questions, if not. Okay, let me just check that. Okay.
Okay, for agenda item number 21, Ms. Barber, our Human Resource Specialist, advised she has nothing to report. Moving to agenda item number 22, we have Michaela Prado, Grant Coordinator, discuss take action on the Alliance Operation Lone Star fiscal year 26 resolution as requested from the office.
That is to approve the revised 2026 operational resolution as requested by the office of government. And then to update the authorized designation resolution to the
This is primarily just to correct.
yes, we can authorize the
So we'll entertain a motion on 22A.
Make a motion to approve the revised Operation Lone Star FY 26 resolution as requested by the Office of Government.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner King. Is there any other discussion regarding agenda item 22A? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Passed. 22B, discuss take action to update authorized designees on resolution for GLO contracts to 22-130-051-E468. Community Development Block Grant, Local Hazard Mitigation Planning Program as required by the Texas General Land Office.
It's the same as I said, it's just to choose the authorization.
So are we done with that, or is this, or is the, whatever it was Cindy requested about a month ago?
We're done, but we still have to, we're putting after the fact, and if we still order to do anything, we have to do it that way. It's going to be like our own machine grant.
Make a motion to almost here. I'll make a motion to approve authorized designees under resolution for GLO contract number 22-130-051-E468 Community Development Block Grant Local Hazard Mitigation Planning Program as required by Texas General Land Office.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner King, second by Commissioner Martin. Do we have any other discussion regarding agenda item 22B? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Move to 22C, discuss and take action to approve authorized designees under resolution for GLO contract number 24-065-188-F332 Community Development Block Grant Mitigation Program, Shelter of Last Resort Project as required by Texas General Land Office.
It's the same thing.
I'll make a motion to approve authorized designees under resolution for GLO contract number 24-065-188-F332 Community Development Block Grant Mitigation Program, Shelter of Last Resort Project as required by Texas General Land Office. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner King, second by Commissioner Martin. Any other discussion regarding agenda item 22C? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion passes. Agenda item number 23, Caleb Cable Product Grant Coordinator 23A, discuss take action to approve submission of Operation Lone Star fiscal year 2027 application.
We're just requesting to approve it, to submit the Operation Lone Star 2027, and then to approve the resolution as well. To authorize additional.
Okay. Entertain motion.
I'll make a motion to approve submission of the Operation Lone Star fiscal year 2027 application and to approve the Operation Lone Star fiscal year 2027 resolution.
Second.
Correct. Okay, you're gonna do both?
Yes.
Okay, you're gonna do both.
She
All right.
said, okay.
Got it. All right. Motion made by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner King. Is there any other discussion regarding 23A and B? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. We're good now, folks. All right, agenda item number 24, we have Kristen Roberts, Warren County Auditor, discussion only, distribution of February 2026 Auditor Financial Report. You short?
Yes. This is just going to show all of our expenditures and revenues for all of the funds for the month of February. And we also have some few pages, our bank balances as of February 1st. As well as our indebtedness for our bonds.
You know, I did contact Toshiba, and I believe that. Oh, I got it.
Sorry, this is the financial.
Oh, the financial report, sorry. We'll get to it then.
questions from Mr. Wallace on this agenda item? We'll go over that. Agenda item number 25. We have Kristen Wallace, our interim town auditor, discuss take action on budget amendment, transferring $3,000 from vehicle lease payment line items to office equipment line items within the fire marshal department fiscal year 2025-26.
So this budget amendment reallocates funds for the fire marshal's vehicle lease payment line items to the office equipment and furniture line items to cover the purchase of the tablet for operational use. And no additional funds are requested. This amendment only reallocates existing budgeted funds within the department. So thank you.
Mr. Colby, that's almost tough books. Is that what he's requesting? Yes, sir.
We did receive about 5 books for the that we're requesting the funds to be moved from the vehicle lease payment because he currently doesn't have that payment right now. His vehicle is still being outfitted. So we probably won't see those funds come out for another month or two, according to Enterprise. So that's why we chose that line item to move into office equipment.
I'll make a motion to amend transferring $3,000 from the vehicle lease payment line item to office equipment line item within the fire marshal department of line 25-26 budget.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner King, second by Commissioner Martin. Any other discussion regarding this agenda item? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Ayes have it, motion passes. Agenda item number 26. Again, Kristen Wallace, interim county auditor, discuss and take action on county bills.
Well, she's handing those out. I want to thank you, Ron, for being diligent and checking into the Toshiba bills. I'll let you tell them what you were able to do.
No, I mean, I basically let them know where the county's position, and so they agreed to make the reduction retroactive to the original contract, and I believe they waived the late fees. Did they, Kristen?
Yes, ma'am.
They also waived the late fees. So the amended amount, the lower amount is what we would be paying, so we do need to authorize, or does need to authorize payment because they are considered delinquent, but they did make that reduction retroactive. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. One phone call.
I
Thank
think
you.
that's taken care of.
And that Toshiba bill is on the
Yeah, the Toshiba bill is on there. So the amount, the bill amount is $391,272.23. That is including the asphalt patch material for precinct 3. That amount is included in there. One question I did have on 1400. There is a bill for PDK Architects. That's on page 6. With this project, I don't know if we want to stop funds from being paid out.
I guess that's for whatever services they do.
That would be for previous services though, before the deflation of the show.
No pun intended. So what were your questions on that?
Interest payment.
Okay.
And then I guess moving forward also should be full payments on any invoices that we receive on that project.
Besides, we're going to get some more engineering stuff that was previous to that as well.
We're doing engineering right up to the class. So we will have that.
I guess the short answer is no, but let them look at them before you put them on the bills.
If it's something prior to last week, then, we'll grab those. Like I said, I got engineering on Friday evening from beginning or end of last month. So,
As long as y'all let us know that we're good, then.
okay.
Commissioner, I want to take a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $391,272.23.
Okay.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner King. We have no discussion regarding agenda item number 26. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Agenda item 27, Commissioner's Court, announcements by Commissioner's Court, status update. If you'll allow me to kind of give you a little update on tomorrow. What I know. Number one is we don't know what caused the structure to fall. Small Glass have been in touch with the commissioner and I. They sent a couple of structural engineers, forensic engineers out there to see what caused it, along with OSHA was there. I would say there's about 15 employees that were there during the time, and thank God nobody was hurt or killed, not one scratch, not one. It was a pretty horrific destruction. They don't know the extent of what's going to have to be replaced after the structure is removed, what concrete's being compromised. Not an engineer, I'm sure Commissioner Mark would know more about what happens to stuff like that. It is a setback. They are being very informative with us. They said by Wednesday we may have a cause. I don't know. We don't know. So they have not reached out to me today. So that's my report on that. And then tomorrow the audiovisual folks will be coming in and starting to work for the new sound system here. Of course, we have a court hearing tomorrow. We have a trial, I think, tomorrow. So I'm going to work around that and we can come back. They will be working through all this week for the new equipment.
So let's, Bob last give me any indication when the insurance company might release, do anything?
Have not. As of right now, with the investigation going on, no, they have not.
But they're given a time frame.
When you get Wednesday, they may have some. I have not gotten back with the individuals at Small Glass this week yet to get that information. I do plan on talking to them shortly after this, but all I ask is for the public to stay away from the fence. We do have a deputy there, I'm sure. We have people there to protect that area, but we do not need the public out there for any reasons. So nobody can get hurt and stuff like that. Let them get their investigation. Let us find out what's going on so we can be back to the public and we can let y'all know. Right now, we don't have a resolution whenever they plan on tearing everything down, restarting, and we will get those answers.
So they stopped and worked on everything else right after one of them.
They did pull, Phelps was putting the line in still, and whenever I talked to Small Glass, they did let them continue up to their flat because they're outside the construction zone. But they're in the fence line, but they're outside the zone.
Any comments?
Yes. 565 vehicles went through the cleanup on Saturday that was hosted by San Antonio River Authority in Wilson County. And I want to say that it moved a whole lot more flawlessly this time. The main area that we snagged a time before was whenever we were collecting the paints and oils and things of that nature.
they were understaffed. And this time they brought an additional 6 or 8 or 12. Anyways, they had plenty of people working from that aspect of the collection. But I'd like to thank the public for using it. I'd also like to thank Sarah because they're an excellent partner with us, and we wouldn't be able to afford to do it as a county in the manner that they do it. And commissioners, thank you for the help from the other teams.
Absolutely, thank you. Who's up next?
Number 1, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 just count. That's
we don't have to say, let's do it.
yeah.
What we got, September?
Well, I mean, I don't know, but usually it'll be September, October timeframe. And we need to move it up from what it was last year. That kind of, compared to your and everything else, as far as finding a date. I'll make the date. I've also asked Sarah to give us an interlocal agreement for that. I asked him to try to get it done before the last attempt, but they didn't. So hopefully we'll have that pretty soon, and that way we'll have everything laid out ahead of time for that.
Motion to adjourn?
Hang on. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
As a matter of habit, would you start putting the credit card report with the bills for that month?
The first one,
Yeah, with the credit card bills.
statement?
Yeah, whatever the one that includes the entire county credit card.
Okay.
And then also, do y'all have an electronic copy of the plan, specs, and the contracts? We can get it. I'd like for somebody to do that. Got some interesting curiosity.
All right, motion to adjourn. Motion made by Commissioner King for a second.
Second.
And a third. Second by
Well,
Mr.
fourth.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. It is 11:13 a.m.
For the record, we got the second.
Oh, yeah.
You got it.
Okay. Jeff,